Drop the gems.
Hey, Gems. Listen, I know ain't nobody over here yet because I got like 10 minutes before I'm supposed to start. But while I'm starting, I want to tell you that this page is set up for only tips. I'm going to be talking to you only about the only living trust book you'll ever need. You are welcome to order this book. They have it on Amazon. They got it on TikTok. You need to get your own copy so that you can go over notes or you can come back to my notes. So the first episode, we talked about how to start a trust. So setting up your trust involves defining your goals, choosing a trustee, listing beneficiaries, and drafting a legal document, meaning that you can go on Google and you can say, I would like a trust template, TEMPLETT, a template. And you want to get a sample template so you will know how to fill out a trust. I also recommend that you look at some of those videos of what a trust look like, some of the things that you can get, and then we're going to get to my trust, and I'm going to tell you some of the things that I have in my personal trust and my family trust and my business trust. Okay, so let me pull this up because I want to make sure that you understand the steps to setting up your trust. First is to define the goals and what type of trust you want. In these episodes, we're going to talk about different kinds of trust. We're going to talk about all different kinds of trust so you can choose what's best for your family. Then you have to decide if you want a revocable living trust that's flexible and you can change it anytime you want to, or you want an irrevocable trust, which is non-changeable, and often for tax purposes, it's permanent, okay? Select a trustee, choose a person or entity like a bank or a trust company to manage the assets, okay? The grantor, which should always be you. Now, y'all remember this. I tell you to get dependents, get beneficiaries, but you should be the first beneficiary where you can make the changes, okay? You should be the initial one, then someone that you really trust, and you need to make sure that you got everything in order in case you expire. You want to make sure that your family is not scrambling. You also would want to put in your trust your burial arrangements, how you want things to be, how you want things to go. Me and Tim have a living book that would tell you that I want to be cremated, and I'm going to show you that book, and you can get that book for free. Okay, Tim, I need you to stop because you're coming through my speaker. Okay, so work with an attorney after. You don't need to work with an attorney immediately. You work with an attorney after you have established what you wanted. And this book is going to show you in applicable trust form how your trust should be set up, okay? Sign and notarize, sign the trust documents in front of a notary public to make it a legal binding thing, and make sure you have witnesses that is not in the trust. You do not want to sign your trust in front of your children. You want to sign it because you don't want one child to say, listen, they were with mommy and mommy only put in there what they wanted. It needs to be two people that you're not leaving anything to do. Hi, Gail. Hi, Juanita. Hi, Bridget. Hi, Ira. Hi, Sean. Y'all hit the like button because y'all know over here we don't have a lot of people over here, but that's kind of good because y'all can ask me questions and I can answer y'all. Fund the trust. That's a critical stage. Funding your trust is a critical stage. Retitle your assets, such as your real estate. Retitle. Keep that word in mind. Retitle your assets, such as real estate, your bank accounts, your investment accounts, from your name to a trust name. So your trust would not be called the Gail France Trust. It would not be called the Marcella Booth Trust. It would be a name that you choose other than your name. Make sure you retitle your trust. Obtain a tax ID, call the IRS, get an EIN number. That should take 15-20 minutes. You just call the IRS and said, I need an EIN number, and they will give it to you. Irrevocable trust requires a taxpayer ID number from the IRS. So an irrevocable trust, that is a trust that you cannot change, okay? Key considerations: maintain your records of all assets in your trust. That means have more than one copy. You got everything in the trust. You should also have another copy at your fingertips, okay? You got to do regular updates on your trust. Say, like I drive a Suburban, but last year, this time, I had an Escalade. I had to take the Escalade out and put the Suburban in, okay? You want to change your trust every 3 years, and that's what you can do with a revocable trust. You change things. If you sell your house and you get a different house, high spirit, you get a different house, you want to be able to put your address. Do not let your trust sit there with 123 Main Street and you done moved over there to 123 Blue Street. You got to make sure the information stays accurate in your trust, okay? Let me tell you what else is very important that we talked about in chapter 1 of this. Avoid regular updates, like events like if you get a divorce, you get married, you give birth to a child, you want to make sure you update those things. Fourth, and very important, avoid probate. A properly funded living trust allows assets to pass to beneficiaries without going through the court supervised probate process. I need y'all to make sure that when you develop your trust and your will, make sure that you put, if any of your children dispute what's in your last will and testimony, your last trust and testimony, that they be omitted. Because with them fighting and you don't have that clause on the very last page, everything will be, there will be fights. It will end up in probate. It'll be 2 years before they even look at it. In the meantime, the lawyers are getting paid. The judge is making a decision. And when they get the money back, it will be little or nothing. Look at James Brown's, what happened to him. It was hardly no money left. Aretha Franklin, hardly no money left because her children were fighting over it, okay? So now we get ready to get on the second chapter, but your key takeaways is understanding the basics is important for anyone looking to streamline their estate planning, to understand the fundamentals of a living trust. Read on this, study it before you decide to write stuff down on a paper, okay? Empowerment. Through planning, the trust maker role is one of the of empowerment. This person offers a proactive approach to securing a financial legacy and providing for loved ones with foresight and care. Now, you know, it would be stupid if you have 3 kids, like I named my kids over here, 3 kids, and then you get mad at one kid. The only way you want to really omit a child is if they are deceased. If like with mines, if Jade has another child, then Jade's share will be cut down some more. London will get her share, the sibling will get their share, and Jade, as my child, will get her share, okay? Strategize your assets management, including a diverse range of your assets, like your 401k. But at the end of this, I would recommend everybody look into a IUL, which is an Index Universal Life, and switch your 401k over to your IUL. If the stock market crashes, your money in your IUL don't have nothing to do with that, okay? Beneficiary protection, okay? Living Trust offers direct advantages to beneficiaries, such as avoiding probate and ensuring that the trust maker wishes are executed, thus preserving the legacy with integrity and intention. Now, you can do your own trust, but you also want a lawyer at the end to look over, and that's what will make the cost cheaper with an attorney helping your trust. You map out your trust, make sure it's right, get a law office, an estate lawyer to look over your stuff, then have them file it in the courthouse and wherever it needs to go. Okay. You want to make sure that the city and state is aware that you have a trust because, like I said, if your name is on a bank account, look it up. You pass away, it is closed. They will not let anybody take any money out, especially Social Security will notify that you're passed on. And guess what? Social Security will cut off the disability checks and everything before you can catch your breath to report it yourself. It's already done. And if you happen to get a Social Security check in your mother's account, like the day she died, don't touch that money because Social Security is coming back to withdraw that money. And if that money is gone, whoever drew it will have criminal charges because I don't care if your name is on the bank account. That Social Security money belongs to whoever it is for, okay? The role of your trustee. It is very important to select a trustworthy person and diligent trustee. You don't want to select a child who holds grievances against the other kids and say, I'm not going to give you your share of money or assets from mommy because you make me sick. Remember that time you did that to me? You don't want those type of fights and arguments. You want a clear consensus that my trustee is going to honor what I have asked them to do. And what you can do is put time stamps within 72 hours. I want this money to go to this person. Within a week, I want my house on the market. And be reasonable. Within 60 days, you want your house on the market. Then you want the mortgage company to split up the money that your children can get your spouse. Like I said, my husband is entitled to 50% of everything. My kids got the other 50%, and it is split up in percentages. Make sure that you take care of your significant other because I wouldn't want my kids fighting with my husband, and I have made it clear to them that my husband gets 50%, just like he has substantiated I would get 100% to take care of everybody because he knows that I'm not selfish, that I would take care of what we have here first, and then I would make sure everybody gets their share. Estate planning accessibility. The Living Trust helps the estate planning make it accessible and an effective tool for individuals across different life stages and financial standings. I'm going to tell you something. Estate planning, once you conclude your trust, you need to bring all your beneficiaries over for dinner. And after dinner conversation should be what's in that trust. So there is no misunderstanding. There should be no questions because this is what I want. This is what you need to do. If you feel like you can't do what I asked, then let me eliminate you now. Because y'all know, as people, money changes things. Yeah, I mean, people will start hating on you in a second behind somebody else's money, and that's what comes first. So y'all make sure y'all do that. So let's debunk some of the living trust misconceptions. One, you don't have to be rich to get a trust, uh, to a living trust. Once thought to be exclusive only to the wealthy, and the famous living trust has evolved. Today, they're a testament to strategic estate planning that's accessible to anybody. If you hit the lottery, if you get a lump sum of money, if you're working, you need to start writing down daily what are your ideas to go into your trust. Then you need to pull a template and see what you have written, where it goes on the separate lines, okay? Today's living trust, not just for moguls and celebrities, is for you. It's for me. It's for anybody to have something that they want to pass on. Now, some of us are older. What you need to start doing now is eliminating things from your house that is no longer important. Okay. God can call us any day, but you do not want your children sorting through a bunch of stuff because you wasn't organized. Don't put this trust or your will off until tomorrow. You need to start working on it little by little. Just take a line and say, this is what I want left for Renee. This is what I want left for Bill. This is what I want. This is where I want these books to go. I want these books to go to, a camp, a public library. Those are things that you can do, and guess what, you can get taxes off of them. You can claim them on your taxes. I'm talking about while you're living. You can claim donations. So you want to do this while you're living and you got your right mind. Okay, you want to do these things. Okay, so how living trusts are unsung heroes for middle income. Now, everybody in here, I presume, is middle income. I don't presume that you are filthy rich. Okay. So a living trust have emerged as a hidden gem in estate planning, especially for middle class families, often balancing the dual goals of assets protection and financial prudence. Okay. These families find out that when they start organizing their life and getting their monies together and downgrading their debt, and I'm going to tell you how you can downgrade your debt. You have credit cards, get credit card insurance. It'll cost you an extra $10. If you can't pay your credit card this month, then you call them and say, listen, I got less money. I can't make my credit card payment this month. And guess what? It automatically will pay your credit card, not just for the month, for 6 months to a year. Put insurance on everything, whether you feel it's not important or not. Put it on your credit card, put mortgage protection on your house in case you pass away. You might owe $300,000 on your house. It will already be paid off. All you have to do is present the death certificate. You can get a death certificate from your local DMV. Just like you can go there and get a birth certificate now, you can get a death certificate from DMV. You just got to have the right credentials for that. Or if I pass away, you can get a death certificate from the funeral home. Anybody ever heard of that? One of the most compelling advantages that a living trust bring to estate planning, unlike the traditional probate process, living trust offers a streamlined approach in transferring assets, meaning my assets going to this person, my first child, my second child, my third child. This will make sure that there is no there you got an overseer, which is the attorney. The attorney is not the trustee though. Your first child is the trustee. And if there's any questions, then your second and third child can go to the attorney and say, hey, my mother's trust said that I get my money in 2 weeks. I haven't received my money. Then the lawyer will make sure he talks to the trustee and said, hey, you can get a penalty for not giving them their share of money for 2 weeks. You got to have somebody check the checker to be checked. You got to remember, you got to always, I mean, I know you trust your children, but you don't know, if my first child will say, well, Joan might be getting too much money. That's because Joan don't have any children. You have a child, or you might have 2 children. That's why your money is less than Joan's, because Joan did not have a dependent that I had to break up her share for. Do you understand that? And I want to make sure y'all know something very, very important. Let me see what Sean says. Sean says, yes, ma'am, I work at the funeral home with my dad. You can get a certified copy of the death certificate from the funeral home and vital statistics. You're right. Because, see, I know that when somebody passed away, you be saying, where's the death certificate? Where's the death certificate? Well, you don't know that once the services for your loved one is over and the insurance companies have paid your funeral home, they're not going to give it to you before they get paid now. It's going to take a couple of weeks to get it. You're not going to get it the day your mama was buried. It's going to take a couple of weeks to get it, but you're going to get the death certificate certified. Death does strange things to yes, it really do. Death will make you hate your siblings because jealousy. Well, with me, I have sat down and asked each of my kids, like I have rosewood furniture. I asked them, what do you want? What piece do you want? It will make your trust better, where my son knows he gets this pencil and my daughter knows she gets this pencil. It makes it less fighting. Everybody is mourning. And guess what? The white people make sure that this is done. Now, let me tell you something really important. Say you have a disabled child. Please, do you know that the law will not allow you to leave the disabled child anything? You're going to have to make sure that your trustee knows what to do, how to designate the money. Now, the state will come in and say, do this person have money? And that was designated to them. What happens is the state will take that money for that disabled child. They will take the money for the disabled child. Say me and Tim right now, Tim had to go in a nursing home and my house wasn't in a trust. I would have to sell my home to make sure that the nursing home get their share of the money and leave me with whatever. My name is first, but it doesn't matter because the trust don't have my name. So what happens, because the trust doesn't have my name, they can't touch the house. Say I got the trust in Secret Deodorant. That's the name of the trust, Secret PH. So when I go into the nursing home can't make you touch the Secret PH. They cannot. But if this house has my name on it and Tim's name on it, and I got to go into the nursing home, that means Tim got to sell this house and make sure that they get their money. And that's sad. So retitle. Remember, retitle your trust. Okay, so probate avoidance. That means you don't want to end up down at the courts. I'm going to show y'all a little video about what happens when you end up at the courts. Probate avoidance. This is one of the primary advantages of a living trust, irrespective of estate size. That means if you just got one little house that have one bedroom, one bathroom, it doesn't matter. Your house will end up in probate. Okay. The probate process can be time-consuming and costly with legal fees and court costs. Here you go right here. See this? This is one of the primary advantages of a living trust. Irrespective of estate size, the probate process can be time consuming and costly with legal fees, court costs potentially consuming a significant portion of the estate. A significant portion of the estate. So I'm telling you, if your house or your property goes into probate, it could take 2 years. Say you left $200,000 in there. Do you realize that after it comes out of probate, it could have $50,000 left? 50 grand. That's how much you would have left. $50,000 to split up after it went in with $200,000. You got to be, that's why I'm saying you got to make your kids realize, sit down and make them understand what they're doing when they're fighting over your stuff. It's your stuff. They ain't got no business fighting over your things because you wanted it to be left a certain way, and that's how it should be. Listen to this.
The fuck are you working 30 years for a house that belongs to a judge?
Wait.
The fuck are you working 30 years for a house that belongs to a judge? The second your heart skips a beat, most of you are walking around proud of a clear title. Don't be a fucking idiot. A title in your name is just a target. A will? That's not a plan. It's a formal invitation for $600 an hour leeches to bleed your kids dry for 2 years straight while they sit on the sidewalk. Here is how you stop the slaughter. 1. Rip your name off that deed. Move the house into a revocable living trust. This makes you invisible to probate court. You keep the keys, the state loses the target. 2. Use joint tenancy with rights of survivorship as your backup. It transfers property to your heirs on the spot. Zero court, zero bullshit. 3. Weaponize your life insurance by naming the trust as the beneficiary. This pays off the mortgage and taxes tax-free, leaving your kids a fortress instead of a legal battle. Stop being a line item in a probate file. The orange card is active. Tap it now. Grab the manual and secure your sovereignty. Don't. The fuck are you working 30 years for a house?
And she's right. She's right. Sorry is so harsh, but we as Black people need to understand that that's how they have come in and take land from us. That's how they have come in and took everything from our kids, and we did. We don't know. So let me let y'all hear this again. We got to stop the slaughter, rip your name off the deed, move your house into a revocable trust. This makes you invisible to probate court. You keep your keys, you keep your joint tenancies, your survivorship. It transfer the property of the heirs on the spot. Zero court, zero bullshit. 3 weapons. Your life insurance need to be pulled into your trust under the secret PH. Your insurance policy. See, you got to understand, you never should put your house in your children's name. Never. Not in your grandchildren's name, because they would have to pay estate tax, inheritance tax. You want to avoid that, okay? How living trust are unsung heroes. Oh, no, I'm on this. Let me see. Even smaller states can benefit from a trust. Privacy protection, unlike a probate, a public process that makes an estate details a matter of public record. That's why I tell you, do your own trust. And at the end, get an estate attorney, okay? Simplify your assets. That's when I mean clean up everything that you don't need in your home. Get it out where your kids are not digging to find what they're looking for. You do not need them to do that. You need them to get right on it and get on out with whatever they have to do. Let me show y'all this little video. What is a family trust and how do you set one up? You can learn more by going to Smart Tazet. Oh, there you go. Smart Tazet, smart takeaways to help you preserve your wealth and pass your legacy to the next generation. Go to Smart Tazet. Hold on. I need y'all to go right there. Takeaways to help preserve your wealth. You want to set up a family trust. That's what I was trying to tell y'all. I have a family trust. So I'm not pretty much worried about anybody suing me because one, I know my family trust name. I know where my income comes from. Nobody can sue my family trust. I have a trust with my family. I got a trust with my husband. You got to protect yourself in different ways. I walk around, I get a paycheck just like y'all once a month. I get a paycheck once a month. But guess what I do? That keeps me disciplined. One, say I get $1,000 a month. This is just an example. That $1,000 should pay my mortgage, my light bill, my everything. And you can move your house into a trust without your house being paid off. That's another thing they don't tell you. They say, oh, no, you can't move your house into a trust until it's paid off. That is a lie. It's a lie, and I'm going to tell y'all the legal way to do it. How you doing? Flexible control. Living trust gives the trust maker control over how the assets are distributed to the beneficiaries. That's you. This is particularly useful for a small estate in which the trust maker may want to specify certain conditions for assets. I'm going to tell you right now, I work my whole life like I have small assets. That means keep things clear and swift and decluttered. I had a neighbor who passed away, and people came and dug through all of their belongings, left the trash in the home. She had a trust to put her house on the market in 60 days. Let me tell you what happened. The beneficiaries who had to sell her house had to go through and get somebody to come and clean out all the junk from her house. That's money being spent out of the trust. But if the beneficiary, the trustee from the get-go would have cleaned up, because as we get older, some of us clutter. We're clutter bugs. We become clutter bugs. But guess what? And I realize I have become a clutter bug. And what I'm going to do this summer, I'm going to have a couple of yard sales. There are things that I don't need. I don't want. I got too much furniture, and I want to start downsizing things I don't need. Like I kept it like this right here. This is trash. This is pure trash. You know what I'll do? Donate this to a daycare. There are things that you have that you can give away. I mean, I got so much stuff that I don't even touch it, but to pick it up and dust it off. Declutter your home. Make sure you declutter your home. Okay? Incapable planning. A living trust includes provisions for managing the trust maker's assets in the event of incapacity without court intervention. Okay, say my trust is set up where my kids can't go in there and say, well, my mom is incapable and I need to put her in a nursing home. I have to have 3 evaluations, and 2 of them can't come from anybody my children recommend. You have people that will put their parents away just to get to that money. Well, I have mines where I need 2 independent evaluations. And guess what? I don't take a lot of medicine now. You can do exercise for your brain to keep it on tact, okay? What it costs to create a living trust. Initially set up costs, the upfront cost of establishing a living trust can vary widely depending on the complexity of whether you choose to enlist the help of professionals. Now, this is where I'm telling you, y'all see this. This says if you enlist the help of professionals, but see, I chose the DIY. See, do it yourself. I chose that option because I know what I want to give, whoever personally. I know. So if you want to set up a trust and you want to get somebody to help you, it's going to cost you. It could cost you up from $4,000 to $6,000. But if you want to do it and simplify and make things more tighter because you have more, you have more feelings towards what you want to give away, you do it yourself. Online they got software packages. See that? Online services and software packages offer templates for creating living trust at a fraction of the cost of hiring an attorney. These can range from $50 to $300. But they also got the templates that are free, legal, and you can look at a $300 DIY. Look at it and write your own trust up. My trusts have a lot of pages. I got a lot of topics that is in reference to me, what I need for me, and you can set it up for you. If you got more than one car, listen, make sure you switch your car to your trust name. Then nobody can take it from you. Excuse me. You cannot put your car in your trust now unless that's paid for, but you can put your house in a trust if it's not paid for. I'm going to tell you how. Additional costs if you want to, like I said, I did my own trust, and then I hired an attorney because the attorney got to make sure your trust is registered with the city and state. That way, you die, your kids can say, hey, my mom had a trust. It was entered this day. I need you all, if you own a house, I need you to go down to the city one day and make sure nobody extra name is on your deed. Because they do that. They steal people's houses. You die, your children think they're going to get the house. And they go in there and they got Samantha Covert name on the deed. And you don't even know a Samantha Covert. Your parents are dead and can't verify there is a Samantha Covert. Then Samantha Covert come up and say, hey, that house on 123 Blue Street belongs to me. That's because you didn't follow up. You should have a copy of everything your parents have a copy of. Every child. That's why I said, when you do your trust, you bring your children in. So you ain't going to go for this foolishness. And then you'll sort of kind of, and then listen to this, you'll sort of kind of see who's greedy. Who's greedy. Every time I talk about my trust, my children just, Mom, I really don't want to know that. I don't want you to die. Listen, snap out of that. I'm going to die. It's 3 things that happens with me. I'm going to be alive, I'm going to stay black, and I'm going to die. So I want my children to know what is going on. Nothing is spying on you. If I go into a nursing home, you ain't got to be worried about losing the house. And like I said, I'm taking months out of months and cleaning stuff out of my house that I don't need. I'm simplifying things in my house. Like if I don't want this bed no more, I'm going to give it away. I don't care if this room sits empty. Y'all got to realize people with money have the simplest home. And we got to show our money. I was telling Conversation of Cocktails that the doctors that live around me, they don't drive no Benz, Rolls Royce, or Bentleys. They drive Toyotas. Just because you got the money, you ain't got to show everybody what you got. It's not necessary. It's not. I have a truck because that truck helps me with my family business. When I have to file my taxes every 90 days, if I transfer nails, woods, hammers in the back of my truck, paperwork, going to meetings, every time I ride somewhere and I got to ride, I get my money for that. I save my receipts for my gas. Or if I don't file my gas, I file my mileage. Start reading on these things because y'all going back and forth to work every day. Y'all buying uniforms for work. You can claim the boots, the socks, the panties, the underwear, the bras, everything on your thing. That's how you know that someone isn't used to money. Telling people your yearly salary, materialistic items, shaking my head. That's true. That is absolutely true. And know that if you are, just say I got a cruise and I want all of y'all to go on a cruise. If you pay into that cruise, you've paid that person. You can file that on your taxes if you're smart. All these cash apps that you give people, if you give them over a certain amount of money a year, do you know that you can claim that? If Spirit gave me over $600 this year, she can put that on her taxes and say, I gave, Speak with Your Girl Marcella over $600. And because Cash App has gotten very smart and not a lot of people not paying attention, they're not paying attention to the fact that Cash App gives you a monthly statement. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all have seen Cash App giving you a monthly statement. Have y'all seen that? Cash App gives you a monthly statement because they clocking you. They clocking you on, yep, Spirit, yep. You better watch what you're giving people for Cash Apps, or when they come down, they're going to count it as income to the other person. Say you all sent me $600. They're going to count that as income to me. I don't care if you put up there for food, cigarettes, and all this kind of stuff. The IRS is smarter than you are. That's why I watch who I give a Cash App to. If I give them a super chat, then automatically YouTube is counting that super chat. And guess what? As long as I don't violate and give somebody 600 over a year, then it's not counting. But that Cash App, oh, they dead on that. They're dead on that. You just don't know. When it goes to the IRS, they say Spirit gave Speak with Your Girl $600. That's $600 Speak with Your Girl unearned. Okay. So I'm suggesting a DIY for your trust, but if you want to pay $6,000 for your trust, you are welcome to do so. 4,000, 2,000, whatever they want you to pay. Additional costs is the initial setup. There might be extra expenses for notarization. Your bank will notarize things for free. Remember that when you need things notarized, your bank will do it for free. Okay. Recording fees. Now, this is what you're going to have to pay for. When you get that attorney, you're going to have to pay for them recording fees for the estate deeds for the city. You're going to have to pay for any amendments that you have to do. That's why I told you to that this look, people sending me texts. I can't look at that right now. These costs are generally minimum compared to the initial setup and can be considered part of an ongoing maintenance of your estate. Like I said, when you get to your trust, please just don't say, okay, my trust is done. And then you never upgrade it. You never look over and say, oh my God, I got to change this. I don't have that car anymore. I don't live in that house anymore. I don't have that dresser anymore that I promised, and then you also want to estimate what your furniture is worth. That's all part of your, hey, Prosperity, that's all part of your equity on things that you own. Like that one cabinet I got in there was $10,000 because it's rosewood. How I can tell you how much it's worth? Because I went to a furniture company here and had them come in and appraise it. I had them appraise my ring. Listen, ladies, you got this ring right here. You know what you do? You get your ring appraised, because if you ever lose it, if you ever get it stolen, you can get money from it. You want to do things like that. Everything you buy, you can get money from it. Don't do like Wendy on Housewives of Potomac. She going to jail. She going to jail. Okay. The hidden treasure trove of saving in a living trust. Now, you're going to be saving by avoiding probate. You're going to streamline assets distribution. Living trusts facilitate more than efficient, immediate transfer of assets upon the trust maker's death. The efficiency can translate into a financial savings by reducing the need of interim financial support. I mean, don't put $10,000 over there, and then when you need money, you go to your trust and you take the money out. I mean, then you don't realize, you lose count. You actually lose count that you had 10,000 over there, and then somebody needed a motor for their car, an engine, and you don't went over there to the trust and took the money out. But then you forget, you're deducting all of that from what we're going to give your beneficiaries from. Be locked in. Appraising, it's a real thing, people. Yes. Get your silver and gold appraised also. Yes. Y'all are some smart people over here. Y'all don't need me. Okay. Potential tax advantages. While living trusts don't inherently reduce estate taxes, they can be structured to maximize tax benefits. For example, and listen to this, for example, y'all, it's very important. For married couples can set up an A-B trust structured to take full advantage of each spouse's estate tax. Exemptions, potentially saving significant amounts in the estate tax. And when the distributions are made, it is possible to provide some level of protection against beneficiaries, creditors, which can indirectly lead to tax advantages. And this is why I'm telling you, I have a Discover, I have a Bank of America, I have a black Amex, American Express, I have a black one. But if I die today, I do not want my husband to pay the thousands of dollars I may owe on it. I put insurance on the credit card. Have y'all heard about insurance, credit card insurance? Excuse me, y'all, because I think I'm getting exactly what my husband had, y'all. Believe me, last night I started feeling that ache in my body. My husband and my mother-in-law have been sick, and I think that I'm getting, and I'm wearing masks and gloves and everything dead. But have y'all heard? Yes, y'all have heard that. Make sure you call your credit. Listen, y'all. Do you know the 17th of every month? Okay, so that you don't get no interest, you need to pay your credit card. I know the credit card company's going to tell you, look, you owe on the 19th. But you need to call each of your credit cards and say, what is the statement date? Okay, if you pay off your credit card before the statement day, you won't get that interest. Hold on. Let me show y'all this. See, a lot of people don't even know how to pay their credit cards. They wait and say, okay, your credit card bill is due on the 4th. By that time, they're racking up interest on you. I told you to take meds. No, I know I'm getting sick. Should you pay your credit card before the statement day? Paying your credit card before the statement date, closing date, rather than just the due date is highly beneficial for improving your credit score and managing debt. It reduces your reported credit utilization ratio as issuers typically report the balance on the closing date and not the due date. So if they told you to pay on the 5th, you call your credit card personally and you said, I have this Capital One. I would like to know, when is my statement closing date? And they tell you, okay, your statement closing date is the 10th. You know what you do? You make that payment before the 10th. I guarantee your credit will shoot up. So, like most of my bills, right? They read my credit card closing date is on the 11th. So I make sure that all my bills is paid by the 10th of the month. Boom. Everything is paid. I don't care if they say I can pay this bill on the 20th. I don't care if they tell me I can pay on the 16th. I pay everything by the closing date. And guess what? My credit score just stays up in the high sevens. That's what I do. Not only that, but this is important for your trust as well. Because if you have a trust and you have credit cards, you make sure that your trustee said, Capital One, my mother passed away yesterday and I need to activate her insurance on her credit card. You want to make sure this happens right away. I know you're going to be crying for me, but you got to handle business. You got to handle business because guess what? The lawyer that's assisting you're going to say, what were your mother bills? What were the bills she had? What was the light bill, the gas bill? And that's why I'm making my oldest daughter my trustee, because she knows through our conversation, if I die, you need to cut these lights out. You need to cut that water out. You need to cut that gas out. Because when she pays all those things, she has to take the receipt to the estate attorney. And he going to cut her a side deal out of another pot of money. Y'all, we got to be ready for whatever. And this is not the time. I don't know about in your state, but in Virginia, electric bills are going up. You got to start paying those electric bills ahead of time. Things that you can save on your electric bill: unplug your dryer, unplug your washing machine when you're not using it. It works. Unplug your washer and dryer. Another thing that works: unplug things that you're not using. You know, when you don't use your lights that's up here, your bill goes down. If you get a little night light, a little lamp, that's less money. If you're not using the lights up there and you're using a lamp, that's less money. Learn how to save around you now. You know what I mean? Okay. Cost effectiveness, a clear advantage. From a financial perspective, living trust often emerges as more affordable options over a long term. That means you're never too young to make a trust. It's better you do it now in your 30s, 40s, your 50s than 2 weeks from now, and then your partner might pass away, okay? Although there is an upfront cost to setting up a living trust, the savings on probate fees, reduced legal costs, and quicker distribution of assets can far outweigh initial expenses. Additionally, living trusts offer potential tax advantages, such as minimizing estate taxes, which can further enhance their financial appeal. The verdict: when compared with the probate process, living trust offers a compelling advantage in efficiency, privacy, speed of asset distribution, and cost effectiveness. And this is something that I had to have my children understand. If you're sitting here fighting over it, if I left you $15, you ain't gonna get that $15 in a fight. You're gonna get more than one check. You're going to get the money from my insurance first. Then you're going to turn around and get money from the sale of the house. See, you don't have to all get one check. You can get the money from my insurance up front. Then in 60 days, when you put my house on the market, then you get money from that. And then if you got to sell my car, or if you express that you want my car, which my grandchildren will get my car, trade it in and get what you want. I will leave that to the next generation, because I have given my children enough in a lifetime to whatever I leave you when I pass, that's all you're going to get. It's no fighting. And it's not just my 3 kids that will get money from me. It's Tim came into the marriage with 2 kids, and we legally adopted a child. Hey, talking shit with Shauna. Prosperity, thick girl. So you make sure that you write down and then you talk to your kids and have them all at the same time. Do not let a child double back and tell you, Mom, I don't feel like, Junior should be getting that money because Junior smoked weed. Then you need to tell that child, look, mind your business. You should have said all this while Junior was sitting there. See, you got to leave room where your kids cannot enter stuff in your mind, and then you're steady changing your trust, your revocable trust. Revocable, that means it's changeable. Always remember, revocable, irrevocable, you cannot change that. But you make sure you have your own thoughts, then you put it on paper, then you tell your kid, this copy is for you, this copy is for you, this copy is for you. If you got any problems, speak now or forever hold your peace. Because after I die, it's nothing that you can do. Right now, at my age, at 60 years old, I feel like I'm in good health and everything. But I know from my attorneys, my estate attorneys, I need to clean out my house. I got this list. This list tells me what I got to do. Like next week, I plan on, I done told Shauna and all of them, I need to go in my closet and get rid of the clothes I don't wear. The clothes I know I ain't gonna never wear. Give them to a battered women's shelter. Guess what? That is tax deductible for me, instead of taking them to the Goodwill. Give them to YWCA. Y'all look that up. YWCA is a battered women's shelter. Y'all give it to the children's hospitals. I can make sure that y'all get a chart on how much is worth what, and then you count up the pants. And pants are worth between $5 and $12. So every pair of pants you give away, that's an adult pair of pants. You can write that down. I gave away seven pairs of pants. 7 times 5, that's $35. That's $35 that you can put on your taxes for your donations when you add up everything. So this year together, I'm giving you an example. I could say I gave away $12,000 in donations for the whole year. As long as I have my tax form and I write down, I gave away this visit $80, this visit $90, this visit $500, according to if I'm giving them furniture. Y'all got to learn how that you can profit off giving things away too. Hold on. All right, let me see. The verdict. Here's the verdict for you. When compared with the probate process, a living trust offers compelling advantage in efficiency, privacy, speed of asset distribution, and cost effectiveness. The choice between enduring the probate process or opting for the streamlined approach of a living trust often boils down to the preference. You can even choose the DIY or you can choose a lawyer, okay? It all boils down to the preference for preserving one's legacy with minimum delay and expense. The scoop on irrevocable trust and revocable trust. Pros and cons of an irrevocable trust. These are the pros and cons. I'm going to tell you this. The pros for an irrevocable trust: protect asset protection. Since the trust maker no longer owns the assets, transfers to an irrevocable trust, they're generally protected from creditors and legal judgments. And you can read it for yourself right here. Now, y'all better remember about the irrevocable trust. That means you can't make changes. This one. This is the one that I have, where if someone sue me, I'm protected from creditors and legal judgments. Okay? So the estate gift tax benefits: transferring assets into an irrevocable trust can reduce the size of the trust maker's estate. So, for example, say I am worth $2.6 million. Once I put my home and my money into an irrevocable trust, an irrevocable, the one I can't change, it brings down my net worth. Okay? Additionally, assets transfer may qualify as gift tax exemptions. Eligibility for government benefits: by removing assets from the trust maker's estates, an irrevocable trust can help beneficiaries qualify for government benefits such as Medicaid without depleting the trust assets. This is what I was telling you. In the irrevocable trust, we got this stuff. So my husband gets Medicaid, he gets Medicare, and they don't come to my house and say, hey, he's got to go in a nursing home and you got to sell your home, because it's in an irrevocable trust. So it makes him eligible for the government benefits. Okay? Now here's the cons. Loss of control. Once assets are placed in an irrevocable trust, the trust maker cannot alter the trust terms or reclaim them, which can be a significant drawback from those who wish to retain flexibility. That is it. When you get this irrevocable trust, you can't go in there and say, hey, I need to change this because no. Your house, make it your last house. But I got my houses in my trust. Because, see, once I sell it, then the irrevocable trust got to delete that property from my trust. Okay? You lose loss of control. Complexity of cost. Establishing an irrevocable trust can be more complex and costly. If you go in there and you got to change it, that's what's going to cost you. Okay? Irrevocability. The permanent nature of an irrevocable trust means the mistakes or changes in circumstances cannot be easily rectified, requiring careful consideration and planning before establishment. This is why I tell you, go online and get you a sample of a trust. Write down what you want. Write down stuff for your irrevocable trust. Write down things for your revocable trust. Just know, irrevocable, you can't go back in there and say, I decided not to give Junie nothing, and I want Junie out of that. No, it's going to cost you thousands, because everything got to be all re-entered back into the courts and everything. So you will put Junie in them over there in the revocable trust, the one that you can change. You don't put them over here with the house and the car and stuff like that. You got to read. You got to understand this. I would never be able to tell you what to do with your stuff because I don't know what you got. But what I'm telling you is read on it. Get your house in order. Get your house in order. If your family got land, get your house in order. Would I tell you to put it in a revocable trust or irrevocable trust? When you got that land, it should have been in a trust right then, right there, right there. You know? Pros and cons, revocable trust. A revocable trust has flexibility, allows the trust maker to amend and revoke the trust, probate avoidance with the revocable trust. This method facilitates the transfer of assets to beneficiaries without going through probate, without the fighting process, and saving and maintaining property and privacy. Continued control. You will always be able to control your own stuff. Incapable of planning provides a mechanism for managing a trust maker asset. Privacy protection keeps the estate affairs private. Now, say Junie get married. He marries this girl named Joanne. And Junie died. Joanne want Junie's share. No. You make sure that the money goes to Junie kids. Now, remember the first time I told y'all, make sure that Junie kids is specified in the trust that Junie children at 25 will get their first payment. So that means Joanne can't get it and squander it because you done thought of everything in your trust. It should be black and white and how it should be distributed. The cons is there's no asset protection. Assets within a trust are still considered part of a trust maker's estates for creditor claim in a revocable one. Okay. Estate tax inclusion for purposes of the assets in revocable trust are included in a trust maker's taxable estate in death. Initial costs. Setting up a revocable trust includes upfront fees, which may be an offset by future savings on probate. So you think long and hard before you choose a revocable and irrevocable trust. You got to learn the pros and the cons. I want to show y'all this right quick. I want y'all to go into the community tab here and you will see some videos I left you, and I will be dropping videos in it periodically, okay? Now, hold on. Should I put my house in my granddaughter's name? Generally, no. You should not add your granddaughter's name to your deed. Doing so gives her immediate legal ownership, risking your home to be a potential to creditors, lawsuits, or divorce, while also creating complex tax problems and losing your control over selling or borrowing against your property. Loss or control, you cannot sell or reference your home without your granddaughter's permission. If your granddaughter faces bankruptcy, lawsuit, or judgments, creditors can place your house into a lien. Medicaid penalties. This transfer may trigger a 5 years look back period into your taxes, potentially disqualifying you from long-term benefits. Tax disadvantage, she may lose the step-up basis benefits, resulting in higher capital gain taxes if she sells the house later. Divorce, if your granddaughter marries and subsequently divorces, the home can be considered marital asset, and your ass would have to get out. A living trust, a revocable trust, keeps the property in your name, my control, my distribution, and avoids probate. Ladybird deed. And I'm going to tell y'all about a ladybird deed. A ladybird deed enhanced life estate deeds, allows you to maintain control of for a lifetime and transfer the property upon death, avoiding probate. Only available in some states. Will include the house in will be insured. It passes to her only after your passing, retaining full control for you in the meantime. See, there are horror stories that people have sold their parents' house while they were in it, and the parents became homeless. Because you never know what kind of money your child might need, and you'll be on the curb. Where was the house that the son sold, $1 million house, and put the mother out on the street? Here it go right here. Based on a recent popular online story, their narrative often refers to a viral Facebook story about an elderly woman named Rose, whose 3 sons kicked her out and sold her family home for $1 million mansion, leaving her homeless. Another similar distinct story involves a son named David who locked his mother out of the house she paid for. These are often circulated as moral tales on social media, with locations rarely specified. Though one similar real-world case involved a woman in her 60s who was forced to sleep in her car. Rose's story was the 63-year-old woman was kicked out by her 3 sons. They sold her house for $1 million. I'm going to tell you something. Money changes people. These stories have happened. One older lady who became homeless due to her 3 sons, cries when lawyer says she gets $1 million mansion. 63-year-old woman had left the house. One son, he sold the house on drugs. His mother put him on the deed. And guess what? The drug dealer got the house. He got a hit, and the mother got homeless. It's a lot of stories. Homeless mom inherits. Look. It's a lot of stories out here. And you got to be careful. I really want y'all to get this Living Trust book, because it's going to take us some time to go through this book. But why it's going to take us a while to go through this book? Because I want to explain every aspect of this book in layman terms. Like, I am a very intelligent woman, but sometimes, baby, you got to take me back to the hood and talk to me and tell me in straight form, not with exclusivity to this book, who gives you big words and then you don't know these big words and then you messed up. But what I want you to take away from today, I want you to take away that I need you to call all your credit cards, and I need you to find out your statement date so you can get your credit up. I need y'all to go on Google and look at some trust forms. You ain't got to buy it. You can look at free templates. Print one out. But before you make your trust, I need you to take your notebook, walk around your home, and see what's valuable in your house and start writing it down. Start writing your valuables down so you can say, here in the kitchen. And you put your kitchen there and you start writing down your pots and pans. What is valuable in there? You know how Black people got this junk drawer. Black people, we all got junk drawers. Clean them out. Go, before you sit down and do this trust, give yourself 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Clean every room. Go from the kitchen, junk jar, everything. Then I need you to find out. We're gonna talk about this a little bit off topic on this book. I want y'all to read about this. So when I come back, index universal life insurance definition. Okay, index universal life insurance is a permanent life insurance policy that provides a death benefit with cash values component that grows based on performance of a stock market index, i.e., SP 500. It offers flexible premiums and provides downside protection with zero floor, meaning cash values won't de- decrease due to the market loss. I need y'all to look this up. Now I'm gonna ask this one question, then we're gonna get up out of here. Can I transfer my S&P 500 over to an index universal life without penalty? Transferring S&P 500 investments like stocks or ETF and brokerage account to an index policy usually triggers capital gain tax because it requires selling securities. A 1035 exchange only allows tax-free transfers. So, see, I need y'all to learn about this 1035 exchange. Only allows tax-free transfers between existing life insurance policies. To avoid immediate tax penalty, you must sell, pay applicable tax, and then fund the IUL. Y'all, we got to learn about this because, see, when the stock market crash, that IUL will not crash. You know, when people say they want to sue, listen, it is really hard to get payment from people if you have a trust fund. It's very hard. I'll get a judgment. Oh, well. I'll have a judgment for life. They'll never see anything. Most likely, having a trust fund means I bought everything I need to buy. If I need to buy a new car, my trust can buy me a new car. That's what people don't understand when they talk about lawsuit. You got to know when you can sue people and when you can't. And I can show you how to protect yourself for life. And you ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to pay nothing. No every month. You ain't got to pay nothing. You get a trust fund and make it irrevocable. And they say, okay, Marcel, I'm suing you for $75,000. You get nothing. And Renee, you can always reach out to me. Anybody got any questions for me before we leave? Matter of fact, somebody asked me a question the other day. Let me answer it because I don't forget. I don't forget. Y'all got to forgive me. I'm my husband. What is a blind trust? Okay. Somebody asked me this the other day. I want you to read it for yourself. A blind trust is a legal arrangement where an individual trustor transfer controls of their assets to an independent trustee who manages them without the beneficiary's knowledge. Fuck no. Nobody should have this. And I have a little feeling that this is the kind of arrangement that Fantasia is in. Fantasia Barrino. Y'all read that. If anybody asks you for a blind trust, don't do that. Never, ever, ever. Don't ever do that. I don't even know why they had invented that because I would never do that. No. So y'all, all through the summer, because we're not going to be finished with this all through the summer. So if my husband has a business, but he's applying for SS Social Security, he needs to put it in a revocable trust. Irrevocable. Irrevocable. He needs to put it in an irrevocable trust. He can get Social Security without a trust, But if your husband gets sick and need to go into a nursing home, if you have your home or business in a revocable trust, those things can change. But if your husband's business is in an irrevocable trust where it cannot be changed, they cannot make you sell it to pay for your husband. And that's why it's so important that we learn. I need you to look up revocable trust, the definition, and then irrevocable trust, pros and cons of both. Please do that, Renee. All right, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here because I want to do this like for an hour each time because I don't want to, I'd be so excited talking about this. I go from one topic to another. But then I really want to talk to you about your children, like I started today, like not putting stuff in your children's names and why not and what can happen. And I want to be able to make sure you know how to protect your children, no matter what age they are, but not putting nothing in their name that their significant other. Because, nobody has to walk down an aisle or go to the justice of the peace to be married anymore. There's what you call common law married. They can also go after you the same way they do if you had a big wedding ceremony. And we're going to get into that. I will do, and I will be watching the replay for what I missed. Thank you so much, y'all. Hit the like button. I don't get paid over here, nothing, because I don't know how many subscribers I need. But this page right here will not be for no mess. No, I don't even have no mods over here because I don't feel like I need any mods. If y'all have any questions, please reach out to me. Some of y'all know my phone number. Y'all can call me. Yes. Banks love for people to open up revocable trust thieves. Yep, you're right, Miss Spirit. Some of y'all know me on Instagram. Y'all got any of these questions? I don't care what time of the day it is. If I run through it and I see it, I will answer you right away. If I don't answer a question right then on this page, that means that I don't want to lose thought of what I'm talking about. But I suggest that you all get this book. It was $20. The book is $20. The book is $20. The Only Living Trust, 2025 edition, $20. Get the book, 2025. Okay. Thank y'all for coming over. Thank you for supporting me on this page. It's like I said, we're not gonna have a lot of people here. It's okay. I enjoy this. So I love y'all and good night. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully.